Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm David Zhang. Here is a preview of some of today's top stories. Nvidia is set to become the first trillion-dollar chip firm. This comes as the tech company's value recently doubled. State lawmakers have created a first select committee on fentanyl. The group met for the first time this week. Disney has revealed their 30-year plan. The expansion plans include creating more parks, hotels, and much more. First up, some big news in the tech industry. Silicon Valley-based Nvidia is close to becoming the first trillion-dollar chip company. Its value nearly doubled this year.
Chip designer Nvidia's shares extended their rally this year on Thursday, soaring 25%. The company has already doubled in value in 2023. Santa Clara-based Nvidia, whose stock hit an all-time high in pre-market trading, was set to swell its market valuation to $945 billion. The rosy earnings also sparked a rally in the chip sector and AI-focused firms, lifting stock markets from Japan to Europe. In the U.S., companies including Alphabet, Microsoft, and AMD rose between 2% and 8%. Analysts rushed to raise their price targets on Nvidia stock, with 21 lifting their view on the idea that all roads in AI lead to the company as it provides the chips used to power ChatGPT and many similar services. As the fifth most valuable U.S. company, Nvidia on Wednesday projected quarterly revenue more than 50% above Wall Street estimates. It said it would have more supply of AI chips in the second half to meet a surge in demand.
Meanwhile, at the state capitol, elected leaders are taking action against drug addiction. The California legislature assembled a bipartisan select committee against the crisis to push for immediate action.
On Wednesday, the new Assembly Select Committee for Fentanyl, Opioid Addiction, and Overdose Prevention held their first hearing, jointly with the Public Safety and Health Committee. Chaired by Assemblyman Matt Haney, the 12-member group was established in September. Haney says he's pushing to work together on comprehensive solutions.
Frankly, California has one of the most horrific, deadly public health and public safety epidemics that is sweeping our state, and our state has not done enough on every level, whether that's stopping these drugs from coming into our communities, whether it's access to treatment in our state, making sure people who are addicted can get help, access to Narcan, educating young people, social media. All of these things require urgent, comprehensive leadership that matches the scale of the problem we're facing.
During public comment, one man said his late daughter previously went to rehab 3 times.
Why? Because fentanyl is 100 times more potent than heroin. That means what? The treatment needs to be 100 times more, right?
Though legislators have been split on how to tackle fentanyl. They have been divided on whether or not to increase punishment and go after drug dealers.
Due to the fact that doctors have stopped prescribing opioids and anti-anxiety medication, the black market has capitalized on this. And now 7 out of 10 pills on the street is fentanyl. My daughter died at a local rehab right up the road from here, and her dealer was arrested. I am going to court every month to see that he gets put away for as long as he possibly can, because he's safer there than out in the public.
The committee has 8 Democrats and 4 Republicans. Previously, legislators have rejected several bills that called for enhanced penalties, referring to the War on Drugs campaign that resulted in mass incarceration and spending. The State Department of Public Health says that fentanyl can be added to other drugs to make them cheaper, stronger, and more addictive. Teenagers have died after unknowingly taking drugs laced with the opioid, where as little as 2 milligrams can be lethal. According to the legislature, nearly 12,000 Californians died from drug overdoses in 2022. The drug crisis began 2 decades ago, with the drug scene starkly changing in the past few years with fentanyl. David Lamb, NTD News, California.
And a lot is happening in Southern California. A few thousand counterfeit water filters being imported from China were recently seized in Long Beach. Most of these products contain fake certifications and were found during import inspections. Here's more.
Authorities at the Long Beach seaport recently seized nearly 4,000 counterfeit water filters being imported from China. According to CBP officer Jamie Ruiz, the fake water filters would have had a retail price of nearly $150,000. The water filters had counterfeit NSF, or National Sanitation Foundation, logos on them. While NSF International is a legitimate third party that tests products to ensure quality, these filters were never certified. Carlos Martel, CBP Director of Field Operations, said, "We are advising consumers to protect their families by ensuring they are purchasing these products from legitimate sources only." In a similar incident almost 4 years ago, fake refrigerator water filters from China were also seized at the Long Beach seaport. The 5,000 water filters would have been worth nearly $224,000 had they been legitimate. These products also contained fake NSF certification on their products. From October 2018 to November 2019, CBP seized nearly $8.5 million worth of counterfeit filters.
Further down south, the San Diego City Council has unanimously voted to sue SeaWorld. The popular theme park owes millions of dollars in back rent, which it accumulated during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The San Diego City Council voted 8-0 on May 15th to sue SeaWorld for $12 million in unpaid rent. According to city spokesperson Tara Lewis, the dollar amount includes unpaid rent, late fees, and interest from 2019 to 2021. City Attorney Mara Elliott told the Epic Times, quote, SeaWorld seems to believe that San Diego taxpayers should absorb its debts and liabilities, even though it has banked enormous profits for decades from its operations on prime city-owned real estate. Elliott says that SeaWorld is the only city tenant that attempted to justify withholding rent due to the state-mandated closures during the pandemic. SeaWorld spokesperson Tracy Spar told the Epic Times that the theme park's policy doesn't permit them to comment on potential litigation. She also said SeaWorld has paid more than $416 million in lease payments to the city since 2010. Mayor Todd Gloria also voiced frustration with the 60-year-old theme park for refusing to pay the fees during a budget committee meeting earlier this month. He called the situation, quote, entirely unacceptable.
Speaking of amusement parks, Disneyland officials have recently revealed expansion plans for the next 3 decades. Their plan includes adding theme parks, hotels, and retail and dining establishments.
At the Orange County Forum in Anaheim, Disneyland officials revealed expansion plans for the next 3 decades. They put forward details like tourism benefits, tax revenues, and employment opportunities. The so-called Disneyland Forward proposal was first introduced in September 2021, following the park's closure during the pandemic. Disneyland Resort President Ken Potrick said, "To put it simply, Disneyland Forward sets the stage for significant and multi-decade investment for the future. This is the next generation of Disneyland Resort." The plan also includes options for opening more rides at Shanghai Disneyland in China and Disney World in Florida. Disney officials say they also want to increase flexibility from Anaheim regarding land use plans in California. This plan is expected to be heard by the Anaheim Planning Commission by the end of next year and by the City Council in early 2024. The Orange County Registrar reported that the plan would create jobs, generate tax revenue, and contribute $1.1 billion to Anaheim's economy.
We'll take a short break now, but here's a look at what we have for you when we come back. Earning a 6-figure income would likely be more than enough for many people. But in a handful of cities, you could still be broke even if you made $100,000 a year. There was a horse on the loose in a Southern California neighborhood, but officers were quick to act and roll the horse back to its owner. And a rare killer whale calf was spotted off the southern coast. The young orca's unusual colors captured the attention of a photographer. Those stories and more coming up on California Today. Welcome back to California Today. I'm your host, David Zhang. Cost of living is something we all need to consider when deciding on a place to call home. But there are 16 major cities in the country where you can still be broke while earning $100,000 annually. And California is home to half of those. In 8 California cities, you can earn $100,000 and still be broke. That's according to a study by LendingTree, a national loan company. And topping off their list at number 1 is San Jose, ranked as the most expensive city in the entire U.S.
I'm originally from New York City, which is another city that's extremely expensive. So, yeah, I'm used to expensive cities, but this is crazy over here. I mean, you can just see it every day.
LendingTree reported that a family of 3 in San Jose earning 6 figures could still be in debt every month by about $1,500.
That is surprising. I thought maybe some city like San Francisco might top the list, but yeah, this is surprising.
San Francisco was listed as the second most expensive city in the nation. The monthly income for a family of 3 was estimated at $8,333, but living expenses would be about $9,500. The survey sourced data from the U.S. Census Bureau to predict the cost of living. This includes transportation, childcare, rent, vehicle costs, travel expenses, healthcare, food, taxes, and more. The survey also assumed the family put away $500 each month in savings.
For sure, tech. I think that is the reason that this whole area is extremely expensive, just because of all the tech jobs that are in this area, and people are greedy and they try to get as much money as possible, and then normal everyday people can't afford to live here.
Other California cities making the top 16 list were Riverside, Sacramento, and Stockton. Additional cities mentioned include San Diego, Los Angeles, Oxnard, north of Malibu, and Honolulu in Hawaii. And in a different recent study, California is listed as the worst state for military retirees. The biggest factor was California's economic environment. It ranked last among all states. Personal finance company Wallet Hub published the study. California also ranked the first for least affordable housing. It has one of the largest populations of homeless veterans. It also has the second fewest job opportunities for retired veterans and ranked 49th in the veteran-owned business category. California also taxes military pensions while most states don't. However, the state offers the 9th highest ranking in the quality of life category. It has the second highest ranking for the number of Veterans Affairs facility per number of veterans. Retired Army Colonel Carl Castro said veterans should consider more personal reasons for choosing a state to retire. He says they should look at where they feel the most joy and comfort and how close they will be to family. California may soon implement mandatory dyslexia screenings for second-grade students. This is thanks to a provision in the governor's new budget proposal. Here are the details.
In his latest proposed state budget, Governor Gavin Newsom set aside $1 million for second graders to undergo screening for dyslexia. The proposed funding calls for a panel to review several different types of dyslexia screening to offer schools. This would begin during the 2025-26 school year. Newsom, who has noted that he himself struggles with dyslexia, said he wants to ensure the tests will be available in multiple languages and account for students' cultural backgrounds. He added that the University of San Francisco is developing a test that takes into account his criteria, and he plans to share the screening technology with other states if it's successful. Newsom said during his May 12th budget reveal, "I'm excited about what California will export to other states. It's not just about being one of the other states, it's about being the best among other states." Currently, California is one of only 10 states that do not require dyslexia screening for students. Bill Thomas, NTD News, California.
A horse that recently ran through yards in a Southern California neighborhood was rescued. An officer rode it back to reunite with its owner.
At about 12:30 on Tuesday morning, Burbank police officers responded to a call about a horse running in their yard without a rider on it.
A concerned citizen said she saw a riderless horse running frantically down the street with a saddle, leading her to believe a rider may have fallen off and was hurt. When the officers arrived, they located the horse grazing on the grass in front of a residence. The horse had a saddle but no bridle attached.
The owner said the horse, Oreo, was spooked and took off running. Burbank police officer Nicholas Moreno, who grew up with horses, mounted the animal and rode it back to its owner.
In more animal-related news, a rare white orca calf was recently spotted off the coast of Southern California. The young orca is one of only a small handful in the world that look like this. Let's take a look.
This orca, nicknamed Frosty, supposedly has a condition known as leucism. This condition is expressed by a lack of pigment causing the orca to be born nearly all white. Frosty is likely around 4 years old and one of only a few orcas in the world with this condition. Frosty was traveling with a pod of killer whales known by researchers as the CA-216. Mark Gerardo, a drone pilot and photographer based in Orange County, was the one who spotted Frosty last month and shared the video footage. He said, quote, "It's already rare to see orcas in this area, let alone a white one." Gerardo was boating with a tour agency at the time. Bill Thomas, NTD News, California.
And to wrap up the night, let's hear the story of another photographer. Aaron Chen is a lifelong swimmer and surfer from California, but also as a fine art photographer. He captures and shares the beauty of the ocean.
Aaron Chang first learned of the underground surfing culture of 16mm films as a teen. After watching the movie The Endless Summer, he made it his goal to travel around the world and film surfing. At the age of 17, he made his own 90-minute 8mm surf movie that was filmed around San Diego, Vero Beach, and La Jolla. When he graduated, he began to photograph surfers and sell his prints. Chang told the Epic Times, "I often think of waves like snowflakes. There are no two waves that are identical." Chang was later hired by local news and surf movie crews. He even worked for ABC's Wide World of Sports. Soon, Chang found himself learning various photography skills as his job expanded while traveling. In 1979, Chang became the senior photographer for Surfing magazine and spent the next 25 years traveling and taking photos on commission. He says, "I had a very peculiar skill set. I was a champion swimmer, I was a surf photographer, and I was, in a very crude teenage way, an engineer." He now shares some of his work through his Instagram page. Looking back on his career, he says he has a life memory of incredible photo shoots. Christina Corona, NTD News, California.
Now let's check in with NTD's Carlos Reyes for our sports roundup.
This is your California Sports Roundup, and I'm Carlos Reyes. The Los Angeles Lakers will talk to LeBron James in the coming days after the NBA's all-time leading scorer said after the team's exit from the playoffs that he would consider retirement during the offseason. The 38-year-old James said after his team was swept by Denver from the Western Conference Finals on late Monday that he had a lot to think about regarding his basketball future. Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka, speaking to reporters on Tuesday, said that he and head coach Darvin Ham look forward to speaking with James and added that their jobs is to support athletes if they reach a career turning point. James' admission that he is considering retirement came as a surprise given the four-time NBA champion still plays at an incredibly high level and has previously expressed a desire to play with his eldest son in the pros. Imagine that. A possibility that could not happen until the 2024-25 season. No NBA team has ever won a best-of-7 game series after falling behind 3-0, and James did all that he could to keep the Lakers season alive as he played all 48 minutes of the elimination game on Monday while also scoring a game-high 40 points. Imagine being able to dominate a professional sport at 38 years old. But with the emotion of that loss still fresh, James ended his post-game press conference with a bit of a surprise. "I got a lot to think about, to be honest," James said. "Just me personally, going forward with the game of basketball, I got a lot to think about." Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, and Zach Neto homered. Tyler Anderson pitched 6 strong innings, and Los Angeles completed a 3-game sweep of visiting Boston and Anaheim, California. Trout and Ohtani homered in the same game for the 26th time. Talk about a dynamic duo. Meanwhile, teammate Trout socked his 362nd career long ball, moving him past Hall of Famer Joe DiMaggio and into 85th place on the all-time list. Anderson gave up 1 run on 5 hits. Red Sox starter James Paxton retired the Angels in order in the first inning, including strikeouts of Trout and Ohtani, but he gave up 4 runs in the second and Ohtani's homer in the third. Angels 7, Red Sox 3. Ozzie Albies hit a sacrifice fly to score teammate Austin Riley with the winning run in the 9th inning, giving Atlanta a victory over visiting Los Angeles to salvage the finale of a 3-game series. Riley opened up the inning with a sharp double, his second of the game against Phil Bickford, and went to third on Travis d'Arnaud's groundout. The Dodgers intentionally walked Eddie Rosario before Albies planted Riley on the 7th pitch of his at-bat. The winning pitcher was Raizel Iglesias, who allowed runners on the corners in the 9th before getting Max Muncy to pop out to end the threat. Braves 4, Dodgers 3. That is it for today's Sports Roundup. Thank you for watching. I'm Carlos Reyes.
Thanks, Carlos, and that's all we've got for you tonight. We would like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Ganjin World, and through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm David Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.